Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Looks like we're live.
I think we are. There's a handful of people. So it's Tuesday afternoon again. So welcome to another Athearn Train Tuesday. And it's for real Tuesday. It's not Friday.
Yeah, I feel like we were just here, but here we are again.
Right. So
with more zany antics for you.
Okay. I guess let's just go ahead and get right on into it. Got a couple of different things we want to talk about today. We will sort of touch a little bit more on the -9s in a little bit, because look what showed up on my door on Monday afternoon. So we'll get into these and talk about them a brief little bit and go from there. But first, we wanted to talk with everyone about some more of the announcements that we have that went live on Friday. It's one of those things that we don't want people to forget or let anything slip through the cracks, because sometimes, we hear rather often, not just sometimes, but we hear, oh, well, we didn't know you made that. So we'll talk about some of the other product announcements that we've got going on, and then we'll get back to the -9s, and then we'll we'll answer some questions and go from there. So,
and I see the break coming in, so we'll have plenty to talk about.
Yeah. So let's just sort of jump right on into it, and let's first talk about the ethanol tank car.
Okay.
So what can you tell us about these, Janek? This is a new production run, and are these all new paint schemes that we have never done before, or just a few?
It's not all new paint schemes. There are some new ones, and there are some old friends as well. So up at the top, we have the Midwest ethanol transport, the MET, with the red diamond logos. Those just started showing up, I'd say, about a year ago, and they run on the Bnsf. And the cars they're all mixed up. It's not all the same size logo on the cars, and they're also mixed in with plain black cars of other reporting marks. So, but what we're giving you guys here is three packs and a single for the larger logo, and then 3 singles for the smaller logo, and that will let you approximate the look of these trains, because, like I said, they're not all the same. They're mixed up, but there's more big logo cars than small.
Okay, and I see this note that we've got on the small logo cars that these are being done with the gloss black paint.
Yeah, the small logo cars are going to come with the shiny paint, which is, again, that's to match the appearance of the real ones. They're not all glossy, but these smaller logo cars seem to be painted up nice and glossy, whereas the larger ones are a more flat black. So that's how they're going to come from us. So your train, won't all look the same sheen either, and that's prototypically accurate. So
yeah, that's a neat feature to mix in the cars like that. I know that I've done that with some of the CSX Bethgons that we've produced, mixed in nice black ones, and then sort of done like the flat, worn out, prime for grime, if you will, patched ones in there, and it really makes for a nice looking consist. So having the multiple finish and the multiple logos and then the different data and all that type of stuff makes for a really unique and different looking train. I mean, it can almost be one of a kind every time you run it.
Yeah, you don't want it all to look exactly the same. Unit trains, there are a lot of similar cars, but the cars aren't all exactly the same, and they're all weathered differently, and different age paint on them. So this will help you out with that if you're trying to build a ethanol train.
And so, do we have an idea of, I mean, did these cars get everywhere? Were they centralized to one specific railroad, one specific area, or?
So I've only seen them on the Bnsf. I don't know if they run on other railroads. And where I have seen them is on the Transcon. So Fullerton, Cajon Pass, and out on the Needle Sub is where I've seen these cars running. I don't know if they run anywhere else. They very well might, but that's where I've seen them.
Wow, way out there. I wouldn't have thought all the way out in your neck of the woods. I would have thought maybe somewhere around here in Iowa and all the corn producing states. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know the details where they load up and where they empty it out, but that's where I've seen the train running.
Okay. Good deal. Good to know. So, yeah, a couple of different schemes for the Midwest ethanol transport ethanol tank cars.
Yeah.
So.
And then we got these next two, the ADMX and the GATX, are paint schemes that we have offered in the past, although it's been a few years or more in some cases here. And again, like we keep saying, these are all new road numbers. There's no duplicate numbers in this announcement, nor versus anything we've announced in the past. So if you already bought these cars, if you already got the ADM cars or the bioenergy cars, you can add on to your fleet and not have duplicate numbers.
Right. And I'm not sure if that's something that a lot of people know, but like whenever we do multi-packs of freight cars like this, I mean, we keep tabs of each road number that we've done so as to not duplicate it wherever possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so. Exactly. And the bioenergy cars, I have seen those on the Bnsf ethanol trains as well. Someone in the comments says that they are common on the East Coast, so maybe they are nationwide. That could very well be the case.
Yeah, because I think ADM is sort of a nationwide thing. I know that there is an ADM milling facility down on the Ohio River in the Evansville, Indiana, Mount Vernon, Indiana areas. So
yeah, yeah, they're huge. They are all over the place. So
okay, so then those are the ADM and the GAT Abengoa tank cars then.
Right. And then the UTLX white, which I again think we've done that one before in the past. But again, new numbers. And then the Celtran, the gray, that's a new paint scheme for us. And I will say that the prototype for that car is similar to ours, not exactly the same, but being an RTR car, we thought, hey, you see these gray cars show up in the trains, and it definitely gives it a different look when they're going by. So we thought we'd offer the gray cars just for a change of pace.
Right. Yeah, because I was going to say that's a unique car to be adding there for just the solid gray. I didn't think we'd ever done that one before. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a new one for us. The gray one there. Cool. And then the CTCX is a Prime for Grind release. And I don't know how far you can zoom in on that one, Matt, but there's some cool printing on that car. Someone was asking for the photo. I will try to dig that up. But it's kind of hard to see right there, but you can see the patches down the side of it. A slightly different color black there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was asking if the patches are all going to be the same. And being that this is an RTR release, yes, they will all be the same patches. We're not going to do different printing on each car. We would do that on the Genesis car, but this is RTR. So to keep the cost reasonable, we'll have all the patches be the same. if you weather up the cars differently, then you'll get that effect of having them all look different.
Right.
And I'm trying to find that CTCX photo, so give me a couple minutes here. It may or may not be. It may or may not be on my computer still. I think I shot that one myself, so.
The CTCX car?
Yeah. So maybe I can find it. It's possible.
Okay.
Yeah, just kidding. But so, and then the other thing about the ethanol cars is that they are HO scale and N scale.
Yes, that's a good point. So we won't get into the N scale on a future live stream, but these paint schemes and everything do correspond to N scale as well. So I know that there's more than just a few N scalers out there looking for more product. So here's some more of the 30K ethanol tank cars that will be HO and N scale. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right, no dice on the CTCX. Maybe I'll post it up on Facebook later if I can find it. But we did work off a photo for that one.
Okay.
If anyone was asking.
All right. So that gets us on the ethanol tank car offerings that we have this month. Again, that's HO and N scale. So along those similar lines, well, not similar lines, there's a car in here that you might need for your ethanol train on the next one. And these are the FMC 4700 3-bay covered hoppers.
Yeah, and the car that Matt is referring to in this case is the Bnsf buffer service cars. In their ethanol trains, they will run 1 or 2 buffer cars at each end of the train. And more often than not, it's one of these hopper cars filled with sand, just as a safety barrier, more or less, between the locomotive and the highly flammable ethanol tank cars.
Yeah, I know that we've done. I know we've done one of these cars with buffer service printed on it before, and we did it in the brown color. And as soon as those came in, those were gone almost immediately, because it was one of those things that a lot of people didn't know that they were going to be available. And so that's why I wanted to very much point out that this buffer service car is in the mix of these FMC 4700 covered hoppers. And it is, which one is it? 434. It is available separately. It's not in a 3-pack. So if you're looking for that buffer car, it's this ATH 81571. I know that I'm going to need to place an order to get a pair of them. So I'll get it and renumber one of them myself. But
well, I think the other 2 cars are also buffer cars. If you look on the middle panel there, it says buffer service only for those. So you actually have 3 different looks, 3 different logos and paint schemes.
I didn't notice that. Now I'm going to have to get one of each. Thanks, Janek.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that.
No, that's good news. That's really good.
Yeah, so with what we're offering here, you'll have a really good start for an entire Bnsf ethanol train.
Right. So anyway, so other road names in the 4700 announcement package. What do we got here? Of course, you can't go wrong with Burlington Northern. So
no, in fact, those still show up in trains in their original paint pretty often. Anytime I go up the Central Valley, like Bakersfield or Fresno, I always see a few of those cars, and they're usually pretty decent shape.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. There's a grain loadout here on the Transcon just east of Toluca, and I was up there a couple of months ago, and there's a train taking on grain, and there's a bunch of these still in BN green, and the BN logo is still noticeable. So they're still out there. Of course, they don't look that nice, but it's neat to see such the legacy railroad out there still being utilized.
Yeah, exactly. But in the version we're offering, it is a 1970s, late 1970s paint scheme with the large logo. And there's a couple of 3-packs there. All the numbers, again, are different from each other.
Mm.
So no duplication there. Let's see, the CNW, again, one we've offered before, but tons of cars on the CNW. It was a grain road throughout much of the 60s and 70s, I know. They did coal later, but started out doing grain.
Right. And so that logo on this iteration of it is actually printed on the car. It's not on a separately applied metal piece.
Right. So
Okay.
this is the dark green version. They also had yellow cars and gray cars, but we're doing the dark green this time with the logo printed on the car.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and then going on down the, I'm going to say this wrong, the Clem Co-op grain.
Yeah. Let's ask our constituents in the comments, because we got corrected on Warehouser the other day. So is it Clem or is it Clemmy? Good question.
I'm sure I butchered it, but either way, it's the pink cars. They definitely stand out in a train. We've offered the pink cars in the past with like a BN patch out and a couple other versions. This is actually the original version with the RRRX reporting marks. So it is a 1970s era paint scheme like that.
Okay, so I didn't know that was the original reporting mark on those.
Yeah, I think it was RREX after that, and then a lot of them went to BN, still in the pink.
Keith Robinson says it's Clemmy.
Clemmy?
Yeah.
All right.
And Dave Berman from Iowa says it's Clemmy, so I think I trust those guys.
Yep. All right, well, my apologies there.
All right.
Someone else was asking if these are going to have metal roof walks, and the answer is yes. They will come with etched metal roof walks, which is a big improvement over the old MDC cars. They were a molded plastic roof walk.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought these had etched metal. So.
Yeah, so it makes for a nice looking car.
Okay.
Then we have, and Dave got mad at me for this one because we were calling it Rio Grande, but it's actually Union Pacific with the Rio Grande reporting mark, which is, of course, their property now, and they chose to apply that reporting mark to this hopper series. I don't know why, probably financial reasons. And it's a modern, so mid 2000s and up with the yellow reflectors on it. So a more modern car right there.
Yeah, because I know we've talked about reporting marks before, because I know that I think it's just some of the number series that are available, or reporting marks that are available to group cars together sometimes, because I know that if you go, well, like here on the Norfolk Southern, you'll see New York Central and even some Penzi reporting marks from time to time. The New York Central is kind of common, especially on like their scrap gons and that type of thing. The Penzi is very few and far between, but I have seen them.
Yeah.
So
and out here, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I know that we've seen DNRGW and we've seen MKT and that type of stuff for the UP stuff.
Yeah, and SSW on a lot of cars as well. I've also seen Santa Fe Leasing Company, SFLC, on well cars even, and that's another reporting mark that has been around for quite some time.
Right. Cool.
And going on, we already talked about the buffer cars in BNSF, but we also have some sort of in-service BNSF cars, and with what's called the Circle Cross logo, which was the first BNSF logo starting in right after the merger. So that puts these cars here in the late 1990s and up.
Okay.
And
we only did 3 road numbers on those, no multi-packs.
Right. We did 3 numbers on those. And you can still see them in the same paint scheme. They'll have the yellow stripes these days, but they haven't changed on that. And then the last one that we got is the Western Pacific, which is another one that we've done before, but a popular road. 3 numbers there, no duplicates from last time. And, a standard 1970s Western Pacific car, fairly plain, but you need them for your Western Pacific train or any of your West Coast trains, really.
Right. Yeah, it's just another car to add to the grain train. So.
Yep. They don't have the same railroad on them.
Right. Well, good deal.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got for the FMC 4700 covered hopper. These are HO only, I believe, right, Janek?
For now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for now it's HO scale only. For whatever reason, MDC chose not to tool this one in N scale, and we also have not done it in N scale yet. But it is something we would consider down the road, probably.
Right.
Because it is a very common car, even today. So.
Right. Well, good deal. So there you have it, guys. There are the FMC 4700 covered hoppers, and we talked about the ethanol tank cars, both HO and N scale on the tank cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's go ahead and jump back onto the -9s for a little bit. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on these things because we spent an hour and a half on them on Friday. But we've seen a lot, and I'll venture to say that between all of us, or the bulk of us here at Athearn, Janek, Jack, myself, we've seen just about everybody's comment on these things, and we appreciate the comments. We appreciate everybody taking the time to have watched the video and appreciate the positive feedback. And we're appreciative of all the support that everyone has given us on these. I'll say it again. I mean, this was 18 months ago. This was still not a decision that we took lightly to continue to proceed with these. And your support has further affirmed our decision to have done that. And so we appreciate it. We're happy that you're happy at this time. So,
and we've also got some comments that were maybe not as positive. And you know what? People are entitled to their opinions, and we understand that maybe this isn't exactly what you need. Maybe you model a different era, or maybe it's too detailed. It's going to break too easily for your operating environment, or whatnot. And we understand that it's not for everyone. Most of what we announce is not for everyone. So that's why we try to have a broad spread of eras when we do make our announcements.
It's a good point, Janek. Thanks for bringing that up. And again, I mean, like Janek said, I mean, we're not going to hit everybody 100% of the time. I mean, we'll be happy if we hit, if we even hit 40% of our customer base in each packet. I mean,
Yeah.
we see the comments. We're on the forums quietly and observantly, or at least I am. I know Janek takes a little bit more of a public stance on the forums and lets it be known. And that's good. So it is what it is. So as I showed a little bit earlier, our samples showed up on Monday. So I did get a couple of photos, but I wanted to show these real quick. Where can I go? Click on that one? Yeah, let's click on that one. So this is the BC Rail version. And because you see you've got the rock lights under the front pilot, and then the ditch lights are on top of it. But I think what everybody's interested to see is the see-through walkways. So I don't know if that's showing up or not. But
It's showing up where you hold it over your window there. You can kind of see through on the left side of your screen.
Right. You can see the truck over there. But so yeah, I'm very impressed with how well these have turned out. I know we've still got some tweaks we got to do. I mean, these are very first test shot samples. Of course, I still have yet to review the test shot samples and see how they actually look compared to our engineering drawings and that type of stuff. I have ran this one a total of 3 feet forward and a total of 3 feet backwards. So I haven't even ran them very much. But so there's the BC Rail, and here's the Chicago Northwestern for all you Northwestern fans. It's got the reinforcement bulge on the front truck there. And then as you can see, we're doing these as delivered. So there's no vents for the hardware on the AC cabinet. It's just a blank cabinet. And then I know that a lot of people have been asking about the screens on the back if they're see-through. I think you can kind of see my yellow shirt back behind it. So the screens are see-through on the back. And we've had some comments about the mesh in the screens and the doors in the rear. And we're going to get with our engineering group and see if we can refine that some. So if we can make any changes, we'll let you all know. It'll be nice to see what we can work out for that. But I do have some high-res photos. So let's go ahead and show these. This, of course, is the image that we used for the splash screen on the live link for today. And of course, this is the BC Rail, and there's your rock lights and ditch lights and everything like that, and operating marker lights on the nose. I know that there's a good front-on view. I took these yesterday afternoon in the nice late afternoon light, so the photos turned out really good. But I was also fighting my own shadow. But no, I'm pretty happy with the way the images turned out. We'll get these posted to the social media pages before too long. I think before the end of the day, and we'll go from there and let everyone sort of see how they turned out.
I mean, for being the first ever assembled sample, that's looking pretty nice. Usually it leaves a little bit to be desired as far as the assembly, but this is
right.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, because like you said, sometimes the first assembly samples can be a little on the dicey side, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how these are just right out of the gate. I mean, to my knowledge, this is first injection mold samples and no tooling modifications have really been done. So it's good. I'm happy with how these have turned out with our factory. So of course there we'll have some refinements going on, because I mean I see some stuff that we're not exactly, or I'm not exactly happy with, but at times I can be known as to be a perfectionist. So so yeah, there's that what I guess we determined is the EOT bracket on the rear pilot.
Yeah.
That is a lost wax casting, so that'll be a brass part. So
we saw the real chain on the truck there earlier, which is a nice feature as well.
right. So, and then the single headlight for the Canadian units.
Nice, very nice.
And here you can sort of see that etched see-through walkway. And I mean, I'm just real happy with the way that turned out. I mean, in person, it just looks killer. And then there's a good top-down view, and you can see the etched on the long walkway part of it, separately applied. So
that's so cool. Yeah. I mean, a lot more work, I'm sure, than just having a molded plastic walkway, but it's worth it.
Right. I mean, what goes into making a mold for these things is incredible, and then to be able to come out with something like this, just it blows me away. So, so that's your BC rail, and oh, there's the Norfolk Southern. There you go. That's a good view of it there. So, good nose profile. I mean, I'm just real happy with the way these things have turned out. Rear ditch lights, and remember, these are, what did I say, 2016 plus?
It was about 2013, I think, and up.
2013, yeah. So these are 2013 plus. So these have some of the updated features and the newer paint scheme on them. So, but these will have the rear ditch lights and the charge receptacles and the anti-climber support bracket and that type of stuff. So, we saw those on the live stream on Friday. So here's your Bnsf H2 again. It's got the infamous gull wing cab. And then these were pretty standard, front mounted ditch lights on the anti-climber.
Yeah, but like you were talking about, the grab irons on top of the nose being different.
Yeah, because these here are two-piece nose grab irons. And whenever we get to the Chicago Northwestern here in a minute, you'll see the single piece, which is just awesome. That's all I can say. So, but yeah, I mean, the BNSF, I mean, like we said, there's over 1,600 of these things. So I would say run of the mill, but I know that not to be true because there are differences. Like the vertical grab iron at the rear of the hood, that's specific to the BNSF. Some of the BNSF versions is specific to UP. It's specific to other ones, whereas on some of the other roads, it's a horizontal small grab. This has the late lifting lugs on the radiator. I mean, and what I mean by late, so we'll look at those, and then if we look at the BC rail, see the difference in the lifting lugs?
Yeah, it's a totally different shape.
So, yes, we got that right too. And then here's your Northwestern.
Okay.
Low number boards. There's that infamous reinforcement bulge on the truck side frames. No air conditioner, vent or hardware in the box. The larger plow, which was sort of infamous for some of those roads, CNNW, UP, SP. So.
Right. I mean, maybe they used that plow. Maybe they had some snow and they were in coal service. You never know.
Right. Or heck, hitting all the wild animals out in the middle of nowhere out there.
Yeah, it's good for that too.
So, but here's the single piece nose grab irons that we were talking about a second ago. I mean,
that's cool.
It just looks cool.
And is that an early production feature, or is that specific to CNW?
No, that was an early feature. So CNW, UP, and the first 50 Santa Fe had the single nose grab iron on each corner. I'm not sure about SP. They might have. I just don't remember right now.
Okay, cool. Well, then we'll have that for those versions when we get to them as well.
Mm-hmm. Here's the rear CNNW. And there you go.
Very nice.
So far, I'm just really happy with how these turned out. We'll get these photos shared later so everyone can look them over. But again, remember, these are very first assembled samples, so
right.
They are subject to change, and that's a good thing. So, so yeah, there we have it. There's more information on the Dash 9s. So, I guess with that,
you want to turn it over to answer some questions then?
Yep, let's go ahead and do the Q&A section now. And where are we at? We're in Barstow. And I picked Barstow because I wanted to see if we could see some Dash 9s.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more than a few. If the train goes by.
Sort of keep going and seeing what's going on here at Barstow while we answer some questions. So have at it, guys, and we'll hopefully answer the questions as best as we can. So let's sort of answer a couple of questions that we've been seeing from last week with the Dash 9 announcements. There have been a lot of questions for where's SP, where's Santa Fe, that type of stuff. We felt it best to hold off on Santa Fe and Southern Pacific due to the current offerings from other manufacturers. We didn't want to overload the Santa Fe or the SP guys because, I mean, let's face it, you can't buy all 6 in one hit. Maybe you can, and that's great. Good for you. I know that I can't. We'll be hitting the SP and the Santa Fe in future production runs. I would definitely say 2nd or 3rd. So just keep your eye on the announcement, because quite frankly, we did have SP slated for this first announcement, but we decided to re-gear and interchange that with UP. So the SP research is actually done and ready to go.
Okay, cool.
We'll just have to see how it goes. But having said that, there have been people asking for teardrop Canadian national units, teardrop BC rail units, teardrop Australian units.
Mm-hmm.
And what I will say is that the Canadians are tooled up, ready to go, waiting for the next announcement. The Australian variations, there's a very good chance. We do have a couple of tricks up our sleeves yet, so you just have to keep your eyes on the announcement, because I know that there's been a couple of people say, "Oh, I need a Dash 9 to run with my FMG SD90 Mac." You're thinking along the right lines there.
And those units, I mean, no offense to those guys, but they did a heck of a lot better than we thought they were going to. They were extremely popular.
Right. For the international market, like you said, Janek, I mean, I'm very pleased with how those performed with the SD90 Mac announcement. Gosh, a year and a half or 2 years ago now. I can't believe it's been that long.
I didn't think it was that long.
So, but yes, so a lot of good things coming on the Dash 9s. Everything for all of these variations has been, the tooling has been designed, and I am going to say that it has been tooled. I haven't received all of my test shots yet, but I should be. So, I mean, we're diverse. We are able to diversify our product offerings like that. We don't have to go back and add new tooling or add new variations. I mean, this is a complete locomotive package, and we've got it. So we've got a lot of good stuff to go on the Dash 9 project. Having said that, I still want to address the AC 4400s. We know that a lot of people were disappointed that we didn't announce AC 4400s. And like we mentioned on Friday, we were 18 months deep into the Dash 9 whenever competitor offerings were announced, and the ship was too big to turn around. But I am going to say that AC 4400s are coming because we'd be silly not to. We have the chassis and the underframe and the drive and most of the trucks. We don't have the steerable trucks yet, of course, but we've got the high ebb truck.
Right.
There's a lot of common parts that already exist for the AC 4400. So we would be silly not to do the AC 4400. We'd be silly not to do the rebuilds, the Canadian Pacific 4400 CWMs or the Norfolk Southern C6Ms, even the C6CF or the Bnsf C4 rebuilds. I mean, the bones are there. And I mean, the way the tooling is structured, we'd be silly not to do it. So
yeah,
I know that we will more than likely not be the first to market with these, but again, we'd be silly not to do it. The tooling investment has already been started. So, and with that, now I'll go to some of these viewer questions. So let's view that.
Well, thank you for doing that too, Matt, because we definitely hear the requests. We take it seriously, like we said.
Right. So Brian Simon asks, any guess on when the second run of Dash 9s would happen? I would look for the second announcement to be first quarter of 2021. And sort of along those lines, we're still anticipating an early summer delivery of this first announcement, Dash 9. I think that's sort of where the schedule lies with it now. I would say June or July, because technically summer doesn't start until late June. But I would say, I think June or July is still our slated delivery timeline on these Dash 9s. And if there's a major change, which I don't foresee happening, we'll let everybody know. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Brad Myers asks, will the Dash 9 models have tinted side windows? Where applicable, yes. They will be tinted like our SD70 ACE and our ES44 ACs. Like I said, as needed, they will be. Let's see. Oh, nope, that one. Jacob Sheffield asks, plan for another run of RTR Sioux-Line Candy Apple SD40-2s. It's been years. Janek, what do you think? Ooh, tier 4 on the point.
Nice. Yeah, it's been a while for those. It's something we need to look into, I think.
Right. Train goes by, squirrel.
David Hyde. He's asking about the Railbox late boxcars. Those are going to be 1990s and up, David. That's when they started, I think. Maybe it's late 1980s. You know what? Let me get back to you on that one. But it basically, for us, it means the later Railbox logo. When they went from the big logo that took up half of the car to the smaller logo. That's what we mean by late.
What do you think about some rerun of CP Rail Jeep 9s?
In the Pac-Man? Yeah, absolutely. We should. We could. And we are, right now we're trying to think of, which Jeep 9s are the best ones to release in 2020. We're definitely planning on at least one announcement there.
Ooh, CP locomotive going by, sneaking by on us.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the CWM rebuilds too.
It's a sign.
Ooh, Adam Comer. He's asking the right question for me.
RJ Corman.
Well, yeah, doesn't everybody want RJ Corman?
Maybe.
Interesting fact, RJ Corman did get all the switching contracts for Toyota. So where there's a Toyota plant here in the U.S., RJ Corman Power should be seen working the auto racks. Like there in Princeton, Indiana, I know that there's a pair of 40-2, SD40-2s. And I've had a friend down in San Antonio, go check out the Toyota plant that's in that area. So yeah, RJ Corman's getting a little bit of a following, which is exciting.
Yeah, they're pretty popular overall for being such a regional operation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of plans here. Any plans on doing any other MKT locomotives? Sure, Tim. What are you looking for specifically? If anything, let us know.
Any updates on the delivery date for the in-scale big boys? So we are currently working on a couple of components still for the in-scale big boys, such as the electronics. We're working with Soundtracks to get some of the decoders updated for Tsunami 2 because this is the first iteration of in-scale Steam that will have the Tsunami 2, and so there's just been a couple of internal things we've been working on. We have been working on updating the drive wheels so that hopefully the linkage won't be a problem moving forward anymore. So once we get some of these things taken care of, the production, once they're taken care of and approved, rather, the production should begin, and then they should be able to give us a more firm date for a delivery schedule. So things are being worked on. I don't know what the last news about those was. Let's find out real quick. So it looks like the date is still due in late March of 2021. So for now, the best bet is to just keep checking the Athearn website and seeing what's up there. But I can tell you that they are working on it. Let's see.
Looks like there's, oh yeah, there you go.
Any thoughts of doing a Genesis 2, I assume that's what G2 means, Santa Fe Hudson? So the Santa Fe Hudson, that's a good question. I'm sort of familiar with what those are because they did have a fair amount of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll have to look into that because some of the other steam locomotives we have been considering could feasibly work with some of those components. I'll just have to look and see what happens. So
there are some people on here which correcting me about the CP Rail logo, that it is the multi-mark, not the Pac-Man. So I use the railfan term for it, guys, because I'm...
How dare you?
Call me what you will, but you know, that's what I have always known it as. I didn't mean to insult anybody. It is the multi-mark logo. I agree.
Yes, because Pac-Man is a video game, and Mrs. Pac-Man. Yes, I'm old enough to know those.
Let's see.
Metrolink F125 and a Hyundai Rotom commuter cars in lieu of Siemens Charger. I would love to do the F125, but only Metrolink has it. That's one of those more boutique items that I would be interested in. But we're going to go back to the comments on Friday. These bigger projects are the bread and butter in order to pay for more boutique products like the F125. So we've got some of the bigger fish to fry and get off of the plate first before we can move on to something like that. But the Hyundai Rotom cars have been an interesting thought. I have actually kind of been considering those to go with a couple of other projects that we're looking at the same time. So interesting suggestions for sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens.
And if some other commuter agencies start buying F-125s, it becomes a lot more viable because then we have other roads to do besides just Metrolink. And right now it is just Metrolink. If you don't model Metrolink, you don't need an F-125.
Right. When will you guys do a rerun of the 844? So we have been entertaining a rerun of the UP Northern. There's just been a couple of timing things that haven't exactly worked out with those yet, but we are considering it. I would sort of keep an eye on the announcements to see where we're at with it. I would hope that if something were going to happen, it would happen in the next 6 to 9 months, but
yeah,
I could be wrong. I'm not sure. So we'll just have to see what happens with the development schedule.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen with the real Steam schedule. But hopefully they start running them again before too long here.
Right.
That
Any
would help.
plans for any UP turbines? Yes, there are plans for UP turbines. Keep your eyes on the announcements. Maybe some Genesis LNN GP7s.
Yep, that's on the list, Adam. We haven't done very much in the way of L&N stuff, so I am aware of the need.
Yep, and we do have some of the LNN Historical Society guys on speed dial for whenever that day comes, so that you can bet that we'll get what you guys are looking for.
Absolutely.
MKT Bicentennial, that's on a, what is that, a standard Jeep 38 or 40? I forget. It's a 38, I think. Anyway, if Cyrus is talking about the same thing, it's a Jeep 40. Anyway, it's a model that we don't have tooling for because ours is a -2 model. So
Right.
should a standard Jeep 38 and a standard Jeep 40 come to fruition, you can bet that we would do it, but we currently don't have the correct tooling to do it in Genesis. So
Right. Yeah, okay.
-9s in the late 90s or 90s version. Keep your eyes on the announcements. We can run -9s until the cows come home.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there's that CP in it.
8011, just like Matt Martin said, it's like he knows.
Mr. Paul Amos is asking for Western Maryland chop nose 7s and 9s. And that's one that we have gotten lots of requests for. And there's actually quite a few GP 7 and 9 sort of upgrades that we've been looking at, versions that we can't do that we'd like to do. And that is one of them. It would be a new body, which is a lot easier than a whole new ground up project. So it's possible.
Right. And I know that there was a couple of updates that we were wanting to do to that whole family of locomotives anyway. So that would be the time to add it. So I've just got to get to the development on those and get it researched and off to our engineers. So.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's see. Ferromex did not have -9s. Ferromex had AC 4400s. Rick Simpson, we want a Genesis 2.0 DDA 40X UP. Hold on to your hats.
UP, huh? Are you sure you don't want any other railroads there?
Norfolk Southern. I want a Norfolk Southern DDA 40X.
Can you imagine a pair of those on Horseshoe Curve in helper service? That would be sweet.
It would be something to see, but not true.
No, we're not going to do that. But we would do UP.
Yes, we would do UP.
Let's see. Tacoma Rail. People are asking for Tacoma Rail 70 Ace P4.
And
I
so
don't know. Yeah.
the P4 is just basically EMD's answer to the C4. So there's hardly, if any, external differences from a regular Ace. So
I was going to say, if the truck is pretty much the same, I would feel comfortable saying we could offer those, but we will look into it.
what about a new run of Genesis MP15 AC? So there are a couple of things that we need to do to the MP15 AC before we can comfortably do a product announcement with it. But with some of the updates that we've got going on other projects, we might be able to get it sooner than I had originally thought we would. So we'll just have to see how some other developments play out and get the MP15 and SW1500 and 1000 and we'll have to keep those in mind for these other updates and see what we can do with them, because we know it's been quite a while since those have been announced.
Yeah, it has.
I would imagine that there's some demand working back up for those.
I think so. I've seen people asking for it, different schemes.
More reefers with noise. There are some reefers in stock that make noise. Cattle cars with noise and smell. Well, we can get you the noise.
You're on your own for the smell. We'll let you figure out how you want to do that one.
Right.
Info
on California Amtrak. We weren't looking for info on California Amtrak, were we?
Maybe he means Amtrak California cars. Is that our weekly reminder?
It would be one of our many weekly reminders. I've been seeing them come through here a few times. Thank you for the P42 locomotives. You're welcome, Buford.
Someone was asking for FedEx and ABF trailers and containers. Sasquatch SGK. I think we've said it probably in the past, but ABF has not been able to work out a licensing agreement with us, and neither has FedEx at this point. So we are not able to offer those until such time as that we can work out a licensing agreement.
Let's see, what else we got going here? I know we're sort of starting to get close to the end of our time that we usually go on, guys. So we'll probably take a couple of more questions and then we'll probably call it a day.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
If you ever consider making PTC roofs for NSUP Heritage Aces available for sale separately, we would consider it. That would probably have to be a line item that we would have to take pre-orders on, though, because due to the nature of them having to be painted and added to the production and everything like that, I don't know how quick and easy it would be for us to just say, paint up so many of them, because I'm afraid that we would upset some customers if we only ordered 50 of them and 51 of you came out, Well,
I was going to say, when we announce the Heritage units in the future, maybe we'll have a roof available with its own SKU.
Right.
That way the factory can just make more roofs of what they're already making, and it'll simplify things greatly.
Right, it would. Because I know that we've had a lot of people with first run Aces, Heritage unit Aces, wanting PTC antennas, especially for NS and UP. So we'll definitely keep that in the back of our minds whenever the Aces come up for our next announcement. So what do you think of that one, Janek?
CR patch units on the horizon. Well, do you mean CSX and Norfolk Southern hatched Conrail units, or do you mean the Conrail predecessor units like Reading and Penn Central patched into Conrail? So let us know which one of those you're talking about. But yeah, either one is cool, and I would expect us to do more.
When you rerun the ACE, please bring it out in 2.0. You got it. Will there be a rerun of Heritage Aces sometime in the near future? I would look for the ACE update announcement beginning of next year sometime. So
Yep.
There is another run of ACEs planned. We just have to get some of the research and development finished up so we can get it into production.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we've got to pick road names for that, and we're spoiled for choice there.
Right, and we've been working with a couple of people on the outside trying to get some different licensing and permission for some different road names that we haven't offered before. So we're hopeful that there will be a couple of new options available for everyone. So Jacob William, any wide cab NS-9s? Look for those in the next announcement of dash 9s. So
Dash 940 CWs.
yes.
All right, Matt. Well, it's 2:31. So
Yep. I think we're going to call it a day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next week. We'll continue going over some of the new monthly announcements for this month, because there's still a couple of other good items to choose from to go with your Dash 9 locomotives, of course. Some not.
yeah, not all of them, but some of them.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. Keep modeling, stay safe, wash your hands, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for all the questions, and thanks for your attention, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.